inside every sector. But when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barretons too, cause I done fed up. You done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up of the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up of the unemployment rate, say somebody lie, they say one Guyana. Cause when you look where the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight.
The national player! And the ball from Buxton Digital. All over! Showtime! Plus yes! PPP will take care of you from erection to resurrection. A quick one for you. And the last time I said that, somebody came up to me and said, man, you little bias. Erection is a man thing, what happened to the women. So I got a woman thing for you. And hear me, from the moment she slime up till you get caught up, we gonna take care of you. Thank you, thank you.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out.
All right, hey, everybody's fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up. That's what it is. It's just about just a little, just a few minutes after 8 o'clock. It's a few minutes after 9 o'clock Guyana time. And those of you, wherever you are, we welcome you to 107.1 FM. And lots of things happening in the news. You know, the uh, battle there in the Middle East. It's just battles and battles and battles. Something that we should be seeing in 2026. The destruction of lives and more. I'm more concerned about lives. It doesn't matter whose lives, but I'm more concerned about that. And there are lots of other things happening. No, Christy, no, yeah, she is gone. At least by the end of this month, she has an opportunity to pack up, do whatever she has to do. Lots of people have some very, very not so good stories to be told about her leadership, and more so, going to the Senate to talk about these things and to be cross-examined and so forth. I don't know. Lots and lots of sad stories we've heard about a lot of things, and families divided and people being roughed up, people being killed. I mean, I've never seen an America like what we are seeing, what we are witnessing right now. It is sad, sad, sad. What else is happening? We have, if you guys can tag people, tag them, let them know that we have some folks going to be on with us. We have Twinkle, Aria, Paul is going to be with us. And we also have no other than Judge Shishi is going to be with us. And you know what that is, right? We're going to talk about issues. Some of you, your bumps may raise, but it's okay. We are going to talk about issues that are floating around in our society. But before we get to that, recently it was Manzoor Nadir. Manzoor Nadir, you guys remember him, right? Manzoor Nadir, well, he is saying that he blocks a motion on media access to the National Assembly. Lots and lots of discrimination in the National Assembly. I repeat, lots and lots of discrimination in the National Assembly. And this vagabond who sits there as, Speaker of the National Assembly, he's blocking the media. He is blocking the media. I don't know. Lots and lots of things happening in Guyana. I don't know what's happening. But let's get down to business. Good night. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up. We're going to rock and roll tonight. For those of you who have already shared the link, thank you so much. For those of you who have texted me, you sent me a text earlier and saying, Mark, are you feeling better? Well, that's okay. The show has to go on. Yes, I'm feeling better. We want to touch, like I've said, the Speaker of the National Assembly said that if you have a criminal record, if you're convicted of a criminal offense, then you should not be sitting in the National Assembly. You should not be sitting in the National Assembly. That is what the Speaker of Parliament, the Speaker of the House, Manzoor Nadir, said. And then there is this guy, Kwame McCoy, who sits there, and he was found guilty of assault, threats, and all manner of things. He is sitting in the National Assembly as a convict. He was convicted on criminal offenses. Yet he sits there. Can somebody tag the Speaker of the National Assembly? Tag him and let him know that if no one is allowed to sit there as a convicted individual in the National Assembly, then charity begins at home. The Speaker of the National Assembly should therefore call on the resignation of Kwame McCoy, or guess what? The PPP needs to recall Kwame McCoy because he is convicted not once, but he is convicted on several occasions. And if you notice, in 2012, McCoy found guilty of assault and threats. Office of the President press officer, that was, 2012. McCoy was yesterday convicted of assaulting a man by gun butting him after an argument over election campaign posters. Okay. And so to support that, the article says, and that is Article 156.2a, a member of the National Assembly shall vacate his or her seat, if circumstances such as are referred to in subparagraph D, blah, 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 assembly by virtue of the fact that he is a judge or she is a judge on sound mind. Well, we know they have a lot of unsound mind ones in Parliament currently. Sentence, if the person is sentenced to death or imprisonment or convicted or reported guilty of an offense, and if it is open to the member to appeal against the decision. And so Kwame McCoy should not be sitting in Parliament. I hope those guys in the opposition can deal with this issue. Again, good night. My name is Mark Benshaw. Welcome to Straight Up. Discrimination. Discrimination, and sometimes people use religion. I repeat, sometimes people use religion. And if you are a Christian, you know there's a part in the Bible, Proverbs 3:5, that says, what is it? Proverbs 3:5 that says, lean not on thine own understanding. And so there are times when people use the scripture to suit their personal agenda. And when they're caught in the slip, then they rush quickly to invoke religion, their religion. And, sometimes it's excuses. So those of you who are Muslims, or if you're not Muslims or followers of Islam, it says here, Bilal Rabah, an enslaved Abyssinian man, he was discriminated against because of his ethnicity, because of his race. And of course, they described him as an enslaved man. And this same enslaved man became a companion of Prophet Muhammad, of whom be peace. And this was after he endured severe torture, punishment, all because he decided to convert into Islam. All because of that. And so the story of discrimination, whether racial discrimination and all these manner of things, they have been happening for a long, long time. And people, to satisfy their agenda, they jump on a podium and they claim it's just my personal views and religious views and all sort of Jim Cock bring Ram Goat story. Well, tonight we have Twinkle. I thought we have Judge. Can somebody tag Judge Shishi to come into this courtroom tonight? Simple as that. An arrest warrant has been issued for Judge Shishi to come into this courtroom so that we can talk about this matter and even more. But for now, if you're listening, and those of you who have shared the link, thank you all so much. And so, having said all of that in the introduction, we have Twinkle with us. Twinkle is a member of the LGBT community. Twinkle has been on this program a couple of times, and good to see you back, Twinkle. Good night.
Good night, Mark. Thank you for having me. It's always a great pleasure to be on your show. Good night to your audience, and I look forward for a fruitful discussion.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know you're very passionate about human rights. You're very passionate about LGBT, the rights of LGBT members, and so forth and so on. And let me just say right off the bat, that this is the year 2026, and not 1906 or even 1986 or even 1996. Guys, let's get with the program. When I say let's get with the program, I have my views about my life, and people ought to respect my life as a heterosexual. And this is not the Bombay days where Flatbush Avenue you chase or whatever. The world has evolved, and we ought to become tolerant. It is okay if some of you in the audience aren't tolerant. It's okay. It's quite okay. But get with the program of respecting people's rights. Now, the last time you were on, you spoke about you were doing law and so forth and so on, which will give you the platform to represent members of your community, the LGBT community. Talk to us a little bit about that, please. How is that coming along?
Well, I'm very much with everything that I've seen today. I think I've become a renewed commitment has arrived that says you can't spare another year taking a rest or a break from it. You should go back to law school immediately, right now, right then. And so I'm very much committed to entering law school or to submitting my applications this year. The last time we spoke, I don't know if I had graduated as yet or thing, but I'd let you know we're alma mater together from John Jay College of Criminal Justice. I earned a bachelor's degree in law and society there. I also graduated with honors, the Latin honors of cum laude. Yeah, but you know, where my progress is right now in terms of my legal studies, I'm reading a lot. I continue to read, I continue to look at stuff, but something about the recent development just was a wake up moment and be like, you better get into school this year. Because
Before we
another
before we
year
get
you've
to
been punished.
recent developments, indeed. Of course, salute to John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Of course, I got all of my degrees there at John Jay Criminal Justice. So
The
congratulations.
best.
Yeah, John Jay College of Criminal Justice, indeed. But I think we met many, many years ago in Guyana on a very, I would say, unfortunate situation where a member of your community was murdered. Is that correct?
Yeah, we met in 2014 when two members of my community were murdered by a lover that didn't want to separate from a member of my community. Um, and that moment was remarkable for the fact that at the time, it was the President Ramatar was in government under the leadership of PPP administration. When those murders occurred, we called out to them for assistance, investigation, legal support, psychosocial support, and different support to the community because it was a very traumatizing time and a difficult period. We protested, we did all we could do, and we got no response. I can't remember if members of the opposition, if there were some members, to the best of my memory, I can't recall. There probably were some people that are supported or not. But why that moment was remarkable because you happen to be one of the most public-facing figure. Stop a night on the corner out of nowhere, and it was a pickup. You came with, I think it was a F-150 or Titan, one of those. And you stop and you said, "Girls, how y'all doing?" And then you pulled out either 5,000 or 10,000 and you give it to us. And you said, "Make sure y'all get something." You give your sympathies and everything. And that was very valuable in that moment, in a time of grief and pain within our community. And I never forget that moment. I'm forever grateful.
Yep. Thank you so much. And equality indeed across the board. And as a human rights activist, I don't think that my training is to discriminate against individuals, even if I would say, oh, my personal view, this or because I'm a heterosexual. I don't have to go about banding around and say, I'm a heterosexual, and therefore I can support individuals who are members of the LGBTQ community when discrimination is blatant. But let me ask you, in terms of identity, how do you identify yourself, Twinkle?
Me, I'm a human being. I'm not fighting for no identity of a woman at this point in time. I'm not fighting for no identity of a man. I'm a human being. I'm part of the human family, and yeah, I exist and I have rights. I think I should be given as a human being. I deserve the right as my fellow other human beings, despite whether or not I might pray like them or love like them or work in the same field that certain people working. So I think the crux of my identity, since some people would say, "Oh, you're not a woman," or "You did this." Well, listen, I'm a human being. Tell me I'm not that. So I really don't care about the labels at this point in time. I'm a human being, and I set out myself, or the way I show up in this world is to ensure that fellow human beings like myself are afforded rights and rights to self-determination, equal opportunities, and equality before the law. So those type of things. That's the crux of my identity. Human.
Thank you so much for that. Judge Shishi is with us. Judge is also well known, and I'm glad that we were able to drag you out. You seem as though you wanted to go into hiding, but your mic is mute. Good night, Judge Shishi.
Good night, Mark. How are you? And good night to the
Good,
panel. Good night to the program.
yeah, good. Thank you. Good to see
Good
you.
night, Judge.
Good night, Twinkle. How are you?
As great as I can be.
All right. So, Judge, let me ask you, what is your take? And somebody's, I'm getting an echo, but that's okay. In
Hold on. I think it's my.
Yeah. So we're going to get to the bottom of some of the things. We are talking about equal rights and justice. This is not to specifically beat up on anybody, but the issue is equal rights and justice. What is your take? Do you believe that in Guyana, Judge? Before we get to other questions that
The echo.
that's okay. Do you believe, Judge, that members of the LGBTQ community in Guyana are being treated with respect?
I don't think so, Mark. And again, Guyana have a high rate of discrimination from ever long. And a lot of persons like Twinkle, you have a lot of organizations who are part on the road fighting for persons, and part of the community. Um, Guyana, everybody thinking that Guyana needs a whole lot, but no, all Guyana need is tolerance. That's all Guyana need is tolerance. Because no political leader is not going to change nothing about the communities in Guyana, about the LGBTQ community. Nobody's not going to change it. Because everybody fighting with the name, everybody, they're doing the things by the name, the one they don't want the name to call, but they live in the life. They don't want the name associated, but. So I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will happen.
Have you experienced discrimination living the lifestyle that you are living as a quote unquote gay person?
Yes, I do.
I'm talking
And
about maybe
that's
10, 15 years ago. What were some of the forms of discrimination?
well, Mark, the first thing used to come from the police. It used to come from the Guyana Police Force. It used to come way from there that, you can go make a report, you can go. There's a lot of things, Mark. I faced that.
Twinkle, forms of discrimination against members of your community.
A denial of the right to work, denial of equal access to opportunities, bullying in school, lack of housing, being thrown out of your home from an early age because of religious bigotry. Those are some of the things that affect my community. I think the law, having the anti-sodomy law in the book, coupled with religious bigotry, things like we hear from the leader of the opposition, those things create a situation where LGBTQ people, from a young age, you're thrown out of your home. You don't get access to complete school. You don't get jobs. You're discriminated in the healthcare settings. You can't even afford a home or place to live. So those are some of the things. I think when we also talk about discrimination, I think there's the ones that shout loud For example, we could use again at this moment. Let me say if somebody say fire, somebody say burn. But there's also the silent discrimination where we have a government who is committed to the people of Guyana and the citizens of Guyana and not enforcing the rights under the constitution for the citizens of Guyana. Namely, like as I just spoke about, right to housing, right to education, prevention of discrimination, equality before the law, taking measures to ensure that vulnerable groups are protected. So these are all rights that are afforded to everybody under our constitutional scheme, but they're not the way our government goes about them. They're not enforcing them. Sometimes it's a matter of convenience. Sometimes, yeah, you don't know where they stand on it. It's just all over the place. And with that now you leave a open space for things like the violence, the harm, people feeling they could spew anything they want to spew and then cover it under the guise of religion. It's my religious belief to exclude you from a space. And I stand firm on that. And that is the goodness of society, exclusion.
Judge Shishi, and for those of you who are now joining us, 34 minutes after 9 o'clock in Guyana, Judge Shishi is with us, and I know your busy schedule in Guyana there. Judge, can you say, for folks who might be saying right now that live your life, those who are members of the LGBTQ community, live your life, but don't force your life onto us in society. What is your response to that? And do you think members of the LGBTQ community are doing that, forcing their lifestyle onto folks?
Mark, when you said forcing your life, what you mean by forcing your life? I don't think I've never seen nobody or a community in Ghana ever force their life onto nobody in this country. You do as you please. You do what you want. Nobody don't need to force their life onto nobody in Guyana. Guyana is well aware of what they want and what they're doing. So nobody don't need to force their life. Nobody not even need to force their life. They go looking for what they want. There's a norm. So why would you discriminate when you know what you like? Why would you go down and say, I don't this, I don't that during the day and in the nights, you know what you go looking for. And most of the time when you're thinking that a gay man gonna be looking for you to do something with them, no, most of the time the gay man gotta do to you because this is what they're looking for, their fantasy. Let me be straightforward, let me be raw on it. If there's a topic, because it's a broad, it's a wide topic we could go on. And Twinkle also could relate to that. Twinkle can relate to that, Mark. Everybody having it the wrong way. So if we're going to go down the road to that, and if we in the gay community wanted to do things, we're going to say, oh, this is what they're doing, that's what they're doing. But Mark, we're not in for that. We're not in for that. Because we can do a lot. And if we open up the doors for that, a lot of women won't get a man. If we do open up the doors, let me be facts. Let me push it out there. If we open up that doors, a lot of women will say, well, I don't even know. Marriage will break up. Everything will go down. So what they're talking about?
Well, before we head back to Twinkle, let me ask this question as it pertains to discrimination. We've heard a lot of discrimination when it comes to employment and other forms of discrimination as long as the individual is perceived to be a member of the LGBTQ community. Have you experienced that? Because I have known you for many years, and I first saw you as a prison officer. It's apparent that you weren't discriminated then. Then you later became a city police as well. But have you experienced any form of discrimination while in Guyana?
Mark, let me say this. I wouldn't say that in joining these kind of different organization, because I could say that yes, and I could say no. Because when I go to join the organization, I had to pretend like if I'm this big straight man joining the organization. Later they found out that. And it was a whole talking, there was a debate on it. Say, oh, we cannot get people like you, joining the prison because it's men in the prisons and all of that. I had that. But when I go to prison to work, I be myself. I didn't engage and I didn't be carmel style to my workplace. I keep that to myself. So I can say no and I can say yes at the same time. Because whilst I'm training, all these things came up. At one time, I'd even want to leave when I was training. So yes, it happened.
Twinkle, a lot of members of your community are being discriminated in terms of jobs, healthcare system. You do this and you advocate for them every day. Hence the reason you are here. Because the community is not as small, and I think Judge Shishi has mentioned that. There are many who are on the dung low, lots and lots, and some of them are married and all manner of things. I don't know, Twinkle is going like this. Well, maybe is that a sign, Judge Shishi? Is that a language
It
here?
means preach. It
Yeah.
means
So
preach.
talk to us about the discrimination and the hypocrisy in society.
I mean, if we want to talk about hypocrisy, let's think the hypocrisy aspect of it. When you have an individual who conspire with his political friends to rob the resources of the state away from the majority of people and hoard these resources into his own pockets and his family pocket to build riches and build wealth against the Guyanese people who barely get crumbs, an individual who's implicated in murder, an individual who don't understand playing by the rules, who are accustomed to when they have something to do, they could call up their friends in politics and say, I got a car to clear and get it clear so that they could evade taxes. And you have these people who are literally contributing to poverty in the country and the low socioeconomic situation could stand up in a church or in a masjid to look at another person and call them questionable. I think that's a clear picture of the hypocrisy that exists. If you want to look at other forms of hypocrisy, we live in a world right now where I think, I don't want to be alarmist, but I think with the constant wars and bombings and all these things, we don't know who will release a nuclear weapon at when. And this earth that we live in, and we're looking for shit out the gay person or that person, there are bigger things ahead. Don't let me go to the work, because sometimes the work starts far-fetched. In Guyana, people, the cost of living are high. The school dropout rates, the standard of what people get in school, in the standard of living, the access to water, electricity, all these type of things. All of the things that contribute to people having a good socioeconomic status is low and below the grade that it should be. For some people, only a few years ago, after they've been caught up into their miseries, they've suddenly become these big they suddenly become the voice of the people. But becoming the voice of the people, when we have strategies that we could imply constitutionally to deliver housing, especially a housing process. Right now, the housing in Guyana, people apply, wait and wait and wait until whenever the government feels to give them something like a gift, that's whenever and however that happens. At the same time, the same people who care or claim to care about housing is spending 250,000 US dollars to bribe lobbyists when they could spend that same money to litigate so that we get a good housing policy for the people of Guyana. So these are the type of hypocrisy. While when you're worrying about the shaving in somebody's eye and a whole lag in you own.
Let's head back, stick a pin there as we head to Judge Shishi. And for all those who are now joining us, I know this is a troublesome discussion. People want to shy away from it. People don't want to basically have any serious discussion or discussions on these issues. They prefer that it be shoved under the rug. You just cannot do that. So we're going to bring these things out. We're going to have these discussions. We might agree to let's agree to disagree. Let's respect each other's views, and let's respect each other's lifestyle, and so forth and so on. Tolerance is what it is. And if you are a religious person, whether you go to the masjid, whether you go to the churches, whether you go to the Hindu temples, wherever you go, it's always about tolerance. It's always about love. It's always about respect. It's always about forgiveness and all these different things. And then we see the hypocrisy. And then, as Twinkle just mentioned, who are we to judge? Sometimes we tend to judge others by looking at others' views, but we don't take the big beam out of our own eyes. Let me ask Judge this question. Judge, there's a King VMAC. Good night, King VMAC. King VMAC is saying Guyana do not, but I guess you meant, of course, this is not an English class, so it's okay. Guyana does not have a gay rights law. Point blank. You guys, that's according to KVMAC, you guys need to know your place, period. Judge, take the first bite of that.
And yes, we're no replaced. And yes, we're no replaced. So we shouldn't be the topic in nobody's mouth. We shouldn't be the topic. We know replace. And I agree. I totally agree because Ghana have old laws that hasn't changed since the British days, that they haven't changed the laws. They think that they think the laws changed, but the law only changed for a certain specific time when it want to use for elections or a specific group of people. The laws in Guyana hasn't changed. And we totally agree with that. But we know we place. But if we conversation or we always come up in a topic, that means we are the topic of the land. And this is what I'm saying, I'll say it again. If you know that being religious and you don't want gay people to be a part of your churches, put a placard out, make it clear. Gay people are not allowed to be in our churches, not to be in our congregations. You are not to be here. We can accept that. But if you're going to make a broad statement and said, oh, and the leaders are not doing nothing about it, and all these people from the church is not doing about it, that's fine. Put it out there. Let people know so they won't attend. And then we could understand because you put a placard out there. Then we will understand that a lot of people won't even walk into the Muslim church or they won't even walk into the Christianity church. Because trust me, if you look at them, there's a lot.
And
There's a lot. So being gay is very broad, Mark. Mark, hold on, let me play in Lana a little bit because we open up, you open up the door for this tonight. So let me open up the door. So if you're saying, even if the opposition leader is talking about ministers within the PPP government or Pacific individual, even down to that, that's discrimination. You cannot speak on that. Because there are persons who look up to you. Nobody don't care about your religion. What you need to do is let the people know within the Muslim community, say, listen, I am not tolerant of you having gay people worship in this church or in this mosque. I'm not intolerant of that. If I support you, I'm going to support you, but I'm not going to support you of having gay people here. We okay with that. We're fine with that. But if you come out here, you want to talk about gay people, you attack the whole community. Because you never said this individual, that individual. You said lesbians, bisexuals, and you make it with the S. So you actually talk about the whole community. And Guyanese people fail to realize that all of them, most of them who on the internet are talking, a lot of them run away from Guyana living because they know that Guyana their family didn't tolerate them. Guyana did not tolerate them because they cannot be outspoken gay men and gay women. So let me just say, shine the light on it to y'all. We don't care about you because y'all was ducking and hiding all the days in Guyana. So y'all want to be on the internet to try to play if, oh, the man write what he said. Nobody don't business about that. He write what he said. He said how he feel, and it comes from the heart. Nobody cares about that. But if you want to be a political leader and you say tolerance, you work with everybody because gay people voted for you. Lesbian voted for you. Lesbian campaign with you because a lot of lesbians and gay people I saw campaign with you and be out there with you on a daily basis. So what you're already talking about? Well, then if they're so unclean and they're dirty and they're all of this about them, don't accept the votes. Make sure you put it on your business place. No gay person to come here to shop. Put it out there clearly. We don't want this kind of fake life. We ain't in for that. And as a Guyanese, and we all here, what we're looking for is tolerance. And this is 2026. How can you jump up on a old mosque to say, oh, and the leaders are not doing nothing about it. So what you want them to do? Ban the gay people say, hey, you can't worship here. You can't come here. Let me look at it well. If we want to look at it and we want to open up it broad, let me open up it broad. Because a lot of men and women in Guyana, and as I said it again, a lot of them who living in Guyana, living with a wife, living everybody. If the door open, a lot of them won't get a wife. But let me don't open the doors.
Before the door opens, though, let's go to Twinkle, if you wish to add anything to that question.
Well, I wish to make a comment on the comment that thing
I think Twinkle is
because
mute, Mark.
are you hear me,
No, go
Mark?
ahead. We're hearing you loud and
I
clear.
wish to make a comment on that previous
I can't
comment from
hear.
whoever posted
Yeah.
the
One
person.
second. Uh, Judge, can you hear now?
Go ahead,
Can
You
you
Twinkle.
hear?
hearing?
It's
You
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
go.
hearing?
hearing you, Judge. Can you hear?
I can't hear Twinkle.
Okay,
Are you
one
hearing
moment.
me now?
Uh, are you hearing Twinkle now? Go ahead, Twinkle. You got to speak, Twinkle. Yeah.
Yes, Mark. So that comment that Guyana don't have a
No.
gay law. What is a gay law? Because I'm not fighting for a gay law. What I'm fighting for in my community is access to housing, is
I
access to
can't hear, but anyway.
education, is access to employment, is protection and equality before the law when you go. That it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight, that the measure of the law be applied to you equally as it applies to anybody else. And while we don't have to that person who like to spew, and I must know my place, you must know your law. While we don't have a gay law, we have a constitution. Look, we have a constitution that doesn't single out if you're gay or straight. It protects citizens of Guyana. And as a born citizen in Guyana, you deserve rights and you're protected under here. We don't need a gay law. And under this constitution and this what this says, citizens have right to access housing, education, employment, protection before the law, equality before the law, prevention from discrimination, that the state has a duty to protect vulnerable people. That's what the law, that's the laws we have. And just like how it don't apply to me, I said it applies to every citizen. Okay? So I don't know what gay law y'all thinking about or talking about. You probably draft that one. You can present it, let's see.
All right. Let me just say that those of you in the audience, just be tolerant, be respectful. It's okay to disagree, but let's not get into the mud, please. It's okay to disagree. I'm not saying that everybody listening right now and commenting should agree, but if you're going to disagree, be respectful. Thank you. Now, let me just remind some of you guys who have not heard of this. It happened many years ago, and it happened in the masjid. It happened someone who is said to be at that time a Muslim scholar who was accused. A Muslim scholar was accused of sodomizing, uh, raping little boys. And I know of this situation because I was there to highlight this situation and call for justice. It says back then, Muslim scholar sentenced to 45 years in jail for rape of a young boy. And there were several members of the family. I met the mother, I interviewed the mother of the victims, and the system, the political system, wanted to cover this particular case up. It says here, Nizam Ali was found guilty, and Nizam Ali was probably, don't know what he's up to now, but he was a Muslim scholar practicing, teaching people about Islam and so forth in Guyana. And this is what happened. Nazam or Nizam Ali was found guilty by a 12-member jury for sodomizing a 9-year-old boy. And that little boy, along with other members of his family, siblings and so forth, attended the mosque, attended masjid, and a 9-year-old boy. And after deliberating for almost 2 hours, the 12-member mixed jury returned a unanimous verdict convicting Ali on the charge of sexual penetrating a child under the age of 16 by abusing his position of trust. In the masjid, in the mosque, here it is, a Muslim scholar. I don't know if any of you guys remember this case at all, but even if you didn't know of this case, does it surprise you, Judge?
Mark, no, because I heard about it. It hasn't. So when they want to jump up and go on the internet, and I'm happy, Mark. Let me give you flowers tonight to actually bring this story back to light. Bring it, and Mark, there's so much more that you can even bring out to light. So if they wanted to say that, oh, the man write what he said, oh, Mark, bring this because this is in the mosque, in the masjid, it's right there. Y'all don't try to be hypocrites out here. Let me bring this to light. Thank you, Mark.
And I should say that during that time, while we were fighting for justice, for those little boys who were sexually molested, they were raped by that quote unquote Muslim scholar in a
Thank
mosque,
you.
in a masjid. And many who suddenly believe that they are righteous, they're more righteous than those who sit down and read the Quran or maybe Bible and so forth. They were silent in calling for justice for those little boys who were raped by this imam, this so-called Muslim scholar. Twinkle, I'm not sure if you recall this story, but what is your take on this?
I remember the story vaguely, but I want to also add to this
Mark,
that
I don't know why I'm not hearing Twinkle.
I have over the years traced quite not only in several religious
Twinkle,
spaces.
let me just pause you for a moment because it's important that our other guest, Judge Shishi, gets to hear what you're saying. So,
I'm not
Judge,
hearing anything.
since you're not hearing anything, can you sign out and sign back in? Let's see if
Okay,
it's
let me do that.
yeah. So while we await for Judge Shishi to return, let me welcome all of you tonight. And again, you don't necessarily have to agree with the views. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree, right? But let us have this argument. Let us have this debate, so to speak, in a respectful manner. We don't have to shout and use derogatory terms and so forth. If someone wants to live their life how they want to live it, let them live. Let them live it just like that. But just as long as everyone remains respectful. This is 2026. And I have my way. Just remember when the song the Constitution is there to respect and protect the rights of every single Guyanese. Now, Judge Shishi is back with us, and I'm glad that I recall this case. Muslim scholar sentenced to 45 years in jail for raping a little boy. This story, it's painful. I interviewed the mother. I met with the family, and they weren't getting justice because they were senior members in the Muslim community who wanted to duck, yes, who wanted to duck this story. And they all remained silent. But because it was just a few activists who stood up and said justice must be served. And so 45 years for raping a little boy. And the court, not 107.1 FM found him guilty. The court found him guilty. Continue, Twinkle. I'm not sure. Judge is back. Go ahead.
Yes, Mark. I remember this story vaguely. I remember it. But to your broader question, I have witnessed very often that religious settings, which are often entrusted to be a place of protection and a place of sanctuary and a safe space, often turn out to be the most harmful space to young people. If you I think, and I also this is not limited to the most.
Let me just for a moment. Sorry, Twinkle. I don't know. Some people there's some Alex Rodriguez or whoever this person is. Of course, we know what it's about. I can't see why people using the word allegedly.
And a jury found him guilty.
This individual was found guilty by a court, and yet you're using the term alleged. Some I don't know, something is wrong with some of y'all. But continue, Alex.
Yes, Mark. I've seen religious spaces, mosques, temples. I've witnessed it in the Catholic Church and other churches where people often put trust in these institutions to be safe spaces. And then when it turns out your young children are being touched and abused, and thing. And sometimes, many times, the most loudest person against homosexual or gay, or the very people that are preaching against homosexuals and gay, are the same ones that doing these things. I've witnessed a priest engage in same-sex activities with a child, and then the next day he on the pulpit talking about how homosexuality is wrong. And I was serving on the altar at the time, and I got to stay there with my hands clasped and watching this priest preach about the wrongness of homosexuality and know fully well what this individual do and the horrible things that they've done as a child. So, I've seen it. It people have to understand. I respect everyone who has the right to practice religion, but that doesn't give religion the authority as the most, what you could say, holiest ground, because there's so many things that happen within that space that people who like to throw religion as the means of life and self-determination to others are not looking at those same thing happening in those spaces. And
All
like
right,
you
thank
said,
you so much.
if
Yeah,
wasn't for
go
the
ahead.
activists, this story probably would not have been thing, because especially within that CIOG community, there are very secretive set of people. Had it not been for activists, probably would not have never bring that story to light. It would have just cover and continue. They would have continued calling out people for being gay and homosexuals while these things going on in there.
The other thing is that that when it comes to elections time, everybody campaign, Judge and Twinkle. They campaign, the politicians, they say, oh, we're equal, we want all the votes, and they do not insert their religious views then. But after they hug up and kiss up and they campaign up, everybody's equal. It doesn't matter whether you're part of the bingo thief community, the LGBT community, the this community, the that community. Everybody's one. And as soon as you get the votes, then they realize that, hey, wait a minute, this is my religious views. What is your take on those politicians who have a different view during elections time and after elections, they're ready to discriminate? Judge.
Mark, Guyana don't have true politicians, and I will say it and say it again. The only true politician I ever met in Guyana is Dr. Honorable Simona Brooms. That's the only true politician because she embrace and she accept. She embrace and she accept and she have tolerance. Because there are many politicians in Guyana afraid to say the word gay. They're afraid to say the
Why
word.
why why do you think they are afraid? Because there are quite a few politicians in Guyana who should not be afraid. They should just come outright and say who they are. But why do you
Um,
think they're ashamed to use the word gay?
because Mark, it depends on some of their party donors and the poor persons who supported them that they're afraid to say those kind of things because first they will come out, oh, why you calling, why you so into those people, why you want to support those people? There's a lot, and the discrimination will start to pelt in the air when you come out to say that publicly. But as I say it and I will say it again, Mark, the only politician I ever stand up there and said, I don't care who you are, I'm gonna love you for who you are, is Simona Brooms. Because she understand and she traveled. She understand, she meet people, she come down to the lowest. But then how can you take a rich person to be a politician when they don't understand the ghettos? They don't understand the ground. They don't understand how you survive when the day come. Mark, there's a lot of persons in Guyana who want to live their free life, but they can't afford to live their life. They got to study what society will say about them. They got to study what families will say about them. Families not going to support them. And that is what I said today. If you're a mother and you come in on the internet to say, Judge, I love you. I don't want you to love me if you can't love your own child. Don't love me. There's no love for me. Because my mother support me, my family support me. How can you say you love me when you don't support your own child? Guyana have everything on the increase. Now your child go out there, people abusing your child, people taking advantage. Your child gotta go live. by the way on the streets. Your child gotta go do doing prostitution. There's so much of things going on. So how can you come and say you love me because you see I'm doing something good? Do you know my past? Do you know where I come from? So how can you come out to just say, "Oh, I love you"? These hypocrites I don't like. So if you wanted to come out here to say and you wanted to be a politician for everybody. I don't want a photo app to come out here to jump out to say, oh yes, you know what? I never said nothing bad. I love these people. But then, even if you're talking about the individual, it is wrong. And let me call it out what it is. Because if Aubrey Norton come out and say that, or David Granger they come out and say that, Mark, you and I know that the internet would have tear them down. We know that. If Simona Broomsy come out and say that, they would have tear it down. So what is so special? What is so special? As a political leader, where is the tolerance? We're not acting for acceptance, but it's tolerance. Where it is. How can the utter out your mouth to say, as a big opposition leader, there's gays, there's bisexuals, there's lesbians coming and worshiping these mosques, and you all sit here and not doing nothing about it? Of course. What you're trying to say, what the message you're trying to share out there? What is the message you putting out there? Come
You know,
on.
there is a and Bonita Montague is saying the hypocrisies and the parasites, LOL. But there is a comment here that I want to, we shift the focus back to Twinkle now. And this person, Sean James, whoever that is saying that's how you grow. We don't want run our kids to grow so. In other words, that's how members of the LGBTQ community grew. And therefore, that lifestyle should not be forced upon young young boys and girls, because according to Sean James, uh, kids should not be allowed to grow this way. Touch on that a little bit, please,
Hold on,
Twinkle.
before Twinkle comment, let me touch a little bit. Half of the people who in a comment section and sit down there to talk, half of them living in America, and they're so tolerant and they're sleeping with a man, lying down with a man, and hugging up with a man, because a lot of them don't have a place to stay. Papers not where they are, and a lot of them is so tolerant wherever they are. And Guyanese left and go to a foreign country, and you could go all part of them. Because where there is, because of desperation. So what exactly is sit down to talk about when it comes to Guyana and you come to sit down to talk about is gay people? You ever see gay people in the public domain every minute of the day, or some sexual assault, some rape, some this? Where you ever see gay people in the public domain doing that on a daily basis? Where y'all ever see it? When you come and talk about it. We keep our life more private than a lot of you, because a lot of you can't keep your life private. And a lot of you travel the world and you end up nowhere. Family throw you out. Where you end up living at a gay man house. Gay man is who provide all the most expensive brands that y'all wearing. What you talking about when you talk about gays? If you want, we talk about gay, this gay in everything. Gay people make the Lamborghini. Gay people make Louis Vuitton, Versace, all the biggest brand that y'all wanted to wear. There is a gay in it because it's gay people, it's the designers. Come on, let me talk. If y'all want to talk, stop wearing the gay man brand. Get a life. Take it
And
over,
so,
Twinkle.
yeah. And so before we get to that, there's a Erwin Don Cook. Good night to you, Erwin. Erwin said, God burned Sodom and Gomorrah. Anybody know why? Burn down Sodom and Gomorrah. Over to you,
Listen, so I want to go back to the first comment, and it's unfortunate that people think that they could raise the gayness away, or they could train the gayness away, or they could do this, or lead the gayness away. Um, if somebody is gay, it don't matter whatever you try to do them is gay. It ain't gonna change. It like, so you raise your children however you want to raise your child. You don't control nature. You don't, what you see outside, you also don't control on the inside. You understand? You don't have a computer programming, oh, this person gonna be straight because I raised them straight. No, 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 no. Nature doesn't work like that. Wherever nature lands you, that's where you end up. Whether you're raised or whatever. Because I grew in a conservative Christian home. Assemblies of God, Catholic. No place and space for thing. You understand? And I many days they're like trying to fight myself away out of me again. They say you can't fight this thing out. So I did these type of lazy comments. People need to start reading. They need to start learning that the world around them is not fit into a Bible or a Quran. There's bigger things in existence and realities than some scriptures that was handed to you and you collect and play that you know. You understand? So I listen. Sodom and
I
Gomorrah
don't.
and these things are all tired stuff. Have you not known? Do you know who wrote the Bible? Have you known? Do you read a King James Bible? Do you know that King James had public love affairs with men and give the riches and the things that when you run that thing, he appoint men, he lovers, and said Christ got his thing and he got his George and all these type of things. So yeah, we are reading and people giving to y'all looking to fit people life into that. Start to think going outside the box because if some of y'all go on a debate stage with me and bring religion to debate me, I'm very sorry for y'all. Y'all gonna think it's disrespect. But facts is not disrespect.
But on Twinkle, they said he without sin cast the first stone.
And that's what I'm saying.
And I have seen some comments on many occasions as it pertains to, let's use Muhammad as an example. What's his name? Azruddin Muhammad. Oh, forgive him. Oh, God says who God is a forgiving God. Everybody is forgiving, or forgiveness when it suits a particular purpose, right?
It's also
Uh,
oppression
but
too.
but let
Sorry,
me
ma.
say, yeah, sorry, that's okay. But let me say that as an activist in Guyana, I have seen and I have dealt with a lot of stories of little boys and little boys being molested, little boys being raped by even some of their own family members, male family members, and all these sort of things. Uh,
Homosexual starts
and
in the
all
home.
these things. And so there's a lot of things that's happening in our society. And as we confine it just to Guyana, that's being shoved under the rug, so to speak. Um, as we look at the time, 10 minutes after 9 o'clock, Judge, do you think religion is used to cover up or to as a form of discrimination? Because people oftentimes, whether they're Christians, whether they're Hindus, and they're Hindu priests, pundits who are accused of raping little boys as well, and even little girls. And these things seem to be shoved under the rug. How open they should be in our society to let folks know who might not be aware of all the abuses that's happening against our little boys and our little girls by big men, so to speak. Big men, very big men. Some of them are powerful in society as well. Judge?
Mark, even let me touch back a little bit. Even in Great Britain, the other day they had to remove two bishops from the Church of Canterbury because of sexual assault on little boys. They had to remove two of them also from the churches. So I want to understand if you already want to say born Sodom and Gomorrah. But what go on in the place of sanctuary, y'all not looking into. But you're looking into me, who is an openly living, comfortable gay man who name never went in a public domain of molesting little boys and running wrong and doing all these kind of things. And all these things going on in the same place that you all go to worship on every week. You all run there to worship. So if we wanted to go back and we wanted to actually talk, why we don't raise the conversation or why y'all don't bring it to the public domain to say, but wait, hey, this is a place that I come to worship every Sunday and this going on in this church. No, I'm not going to come here. I don't want to associate myself here. But you look at me living at a open gay man and take my happiness to make it your distress. So of course, what y'all
All right.
think?
Yeah. Let me take this question to Twinkle, unless you have something else, Twinkle, to add to what Judge Shishi just said there.
I want to say because I think homophobia and intolerance create room for sexual abuse of children to breed, especially within the church system. And quickly share the story. Remember, I just talked about knowing somebody who was abused by a priest. As kids, that person wanted to confront the abuser, and I was afraid because I tell the person at the time, I was like, if you do this, they're gonna beat us. They're gonna say we caused this trouble. They're gonna do all these type of things, right? So because of the fear, and then they can judge me. And because of the fear now, as kids, we didn't felt it was right or protected enough to speak out against these things. And this is occurring, and people just think homophobia is religiously justified, but it also breeds other harm that you're not looking at. And I just give an example, but give me the question, Mark.
Yeah. The question is basically, and I'm reading some of your comments in the audience, you folks. There are some folks who are against, and it's perfectly fine to have a different opinion as long as you express it in a very respectful manner. And so this
Well, I
question
can
had,
see your comments. So
yeah, that's
I
okay.
can see your comments, but of course, I'm the honorable judge is sitting here. And Mark, before you even move on to Twinkle to even touch on that, because y'all know I'm streaming it also on TikTok. So if we're gonna go back and we're gonna look into all these things that go on in this country, Mark, at present, there's persons who reach out to me that ministers and all these kind of people groom them from school. There are young men who reach out to me personally and said, Judge, I wanted to talk to you about something. And they wanted to take their life. They want to do this, they want to do that. They said they've been groomed from school, going to school, and they were sexually assaulted. And these people do all these kind of things to them. One of them, even right now, said to me, he said, Judge, I am HIV since I'm going to school because this happened to me from school from a government minister who groomed them.
You
People
know,
who work, I'm telling you what's going on in this country. So if y'all want to talk, y'all want to talk about openly gay people, where y'all see our name in the public domain and be afraid to come out to speak out. And they're still using me out here to come out to spread a word or to say something about them. So you can't sit in a comment where y'all not even advocating for not a soul, but opening your mouth on a keyboard. We don't business about that. Go and
one of
check
the
and
things though
see.
that thank you, Judge. One of the things that, especially in Guyana and the society, some folks are more righteous and self-righteous. That these sort of discussions must not be public. It should be shoved under the rug. And
Mm-hmm.
when, in fact, there are lots of little boys and girls who are being sexually molested in Guyana. And these are issues that are being shoved under the rug because maybe the perpetrator has a lot of money, the perpetrator is connected, or the perpetrator is a big one in the government or is a big politician. Lots and lots of these issues that are happening. And we've got to have these sort of open discussions instead of not wanting to even invite. There are some people who are going to attempt to chew me up. That's okay. I don't mind. Oh, Mark, why you have those two? And I've seen some comment. They're
Oh, Mark,
describing.
you always been in the public domain if they don't know you.
Absolutely. So I can take the criticism. It doesn't matter. And
Yes.
sometimes the criticism it's a little bit dirty, but that's okay. Um, it's quite okay. But we have to have these discussions. Let me say this. Let me ask Twinkle, as it pertains to politicians having an anti-LGBTQ, anti-gay position. Do you think that is a recipe for individuals to harm? Does it put the lives of gay people in danger, in further danger, especially in Guyana?
Yes, yes. Politicians are elected by the people to lead the people of the country. And like it or not, people look up, people look up to them, and what comes from above is going to fall at the bottom. And so when you have politicians acting in the way some of them are acting, discriminating against communities, Bishop Edgel, we're not forgetting him the time that want to put us on the island. Um, Nigel Landon, he believed Margamites and Claphamites and all these things. So when you have people in leadership role that choose to hide behind this guise of religion and morality as the cover to say it's okay to exclude somebody from a place of worship, from is we could have bullied them in school. it's okay to throw them out your house and these things, and our leaders do nothing. Yes, that is, people are doing what they see their leaders do. Um, and when it comes back to politician, on this same topic of politician, I must say, I've never probably said this in public, but I'm very much disappointed in Suzanne Rodriguez. Heavily disappointed in Suzanne Rodriguez. Because there are times when she can proudly claim to be, oh, I'm a proud gay woman accepted by the. Okay, what does that mean? Because as a proud gay woman, it's either there's a disconnect between you and your community, or there's a lack of knowledge. Let me tell you what's going on in the community. Gay people do not have housing. Access to housing is a big deal. If somebody, when Muhammad had made those comments in Linden, if somebody to get a brick to the head, or somebody get put out, if somebody had a gay child and decide to throw them out that night, there's no safe space or a housing that you could carry that person to and say, well, this is a place of refuge. You're going to be safe until you catch yourself what's not. As a gay minister, sit and in the powers of housing, one of the most basic necessities. Your community out here, a trans woman was murdered while you were in the ministry. A trans woman was beaten out of her house. When I personally know, I'm talking things what I know, when we got a pro bono attorney to send a letter to you and Minister Crowell asking to intervene because somebody is facing violence. They got an application pending. The person had to leave the house. You know what happened? The application remains pending. But you know what happened to Suzanne, we gay sister and gay minister? Suzanne was able to build about 3 or 4 properties over her tenure as minister, while gay people and her when you claim gayness, let the legacy shows what gayness involves. That is buildings for me and pending applications for my fellow gay brothers and sisters. And so I'm very disappointed in Minister Rodriguez. And so as claim gay, I would defend you as a gay sister, of course. I love you as a gay sister and a community member. But what you've done with your position in power, and then you just jump out when it's convenient. Oh, wake up. Think about it. You're in government today, tomorrow, the same person that make those comments could be in opposition. What are you doing as a gay minister? When I said, we don't need gay laws. We want a marriage. We don't want none of that. We want people basic fundamental rights to housing, to education, to health care, to employment, the rule of law, repealing the buggery law that empower people to use it against fellow gay people. Would you like that tomorrow you come out of power, God forbid, and this party with this leader jump in, happen to get elected, and then the law said that you could go to jail for engaging? Well, I think it doesn't apply to females, sorry. It might not apply to she. But the law said that gay people, your fellow gay people, could go to jail for 10 years in prison or life in prison. What are you doing about those things? Are you going to wait for the same community to litigate again like we litigate the cross-dressing law? So, it all comes back to what we expect of our leaders in power. Is that convenient to run out when it's trouble? Oh, I'm a gay person, I'm proud. No. Show leadership as a gay person. Lead.
Twinkle, as we look at the time, Judge, as we look at the time, Judge.
Yeah, no, I'm
Judge,
fine, Mark. I want to take my leave because
I know you don't want to take. You want to take your leave to go and misbehave on TikTok.
no, I'm not gonna misbehave, not tonight. But I'm gonna go back to your comment section. I'm gonna take them in the morning.
Got you. But before we go, though, everyone, especially those in the audience, I've noted a mischievous comment from Francine Cruz.
Yeah, I want to take her in the morning.
That's okay. Take Francine Cruz, by the way. We all know Francine and
yeah,
story. But let me ask you this, Judge, since and a lot of people don't know because they ask me, they say, why you and Judge are friends? I've known Judge for almost 20 years. And I always remind and I always say to people that while I was in Camp Street Prison, you were one of the young officers there. And I'm always grateful because you ensured that books were sent to me. And as you know, the division that I was in wasn't no ordinary division. 3 or 4 senior officers had to accompany anyone entering that division into my strong cell, a cell all by myself. But what is your take when you heard? Was it? I don't see the video as yet, but Jack Dale talking about wigs and lipstick smuggling. That officers told him that I smuggled was it wig and lipstick? Were you one of those officers that told him that? What's your take when you have a leader, someone who's supposed to be a leader, behaving in that manner?
Well, I didn't see that video, Mark. I'm not gonna say, well, yes, I saw it. I didn't see the, but when I in my time when I was working at the prison, nothing couldn't have passed the prison like that. You know that. Because we had some serious officers who used to work them time. So basically it's basic things you will get. Nothing in pass in the prison. Anything pass or anything you hear pass, you know what's going on. You know what used to go on at that time. And back in the days when I used to work, I was a serious officer when I was working.
Yep. But that is okay. That is okay. Jack Dale is fond of a lot of things, and you guys, folks in the LGBTQ community, are aware of a lot of those politicians who are. I see. Twinkle is going. Twinkle wants to do what Twinkle does. Twinkle, right? Jack Dale and those guys, they're fond of a lot of things, and they want to throw their stuff on other people, but not me. Not me. You ain't gonna throw that on me at all. Twinkle. In closing, though, uh, it appears that what's his name? I oftentimes say, "What's his name?" Azruddin has backpedaled. He apologized. What is your take on the? I think I read something briefly, some long-winded apology. Your take?
When Dr. King was arrested and sent to jail in Alabama and Salem, he sat down and he wrote a letter. And people should read it, Dr. King's letter from jail. And one of his favorite quotes I live by is that lukewarm acceptance is much more belligerent than outward rejection. Okay, and that's exactly what's contained into his post. In his post, or purported apology, he set out to say, I stand strong on my religious beliefs in the Bible and the Quran, but then I also support things. So don't you see how contradictory that is? That you have a belief that excludes people, and the same people now you claim it to include, but still hold the belief. Like, which side do you stand on? I'm not looking for this type of access. And that's it. At this point in time, it's not about tolerance or acceptance. Does the law provide protections to individuals? Yes. Are they getting their protections? No. And when they don't get that protections, we fight for those protections to be afforded to those individuals. You understand? So I'm looking for Muhammad tolerance, the acceptance of it. What I know as thus far, as leader of the opposition, you have a responsibility not only for those who elect you and those that agree with you, every one of the citizens. You took an oath to the Constitution to represent it and preserve it and do whatever the oath. I can't remember all the words of the oath. But when you seek to select who get protection under the Constitution and who is included and who's not included, you're defying that oath. Okay? And if you might be get off with certain things in outside of politics, and you get off with certain things that you could political prosecutor, blah, 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 all the whole world throw at you, but you enter into the political realm and believe that this is the realm that you can always be able to call up somebody and think there's certain rules and systems that are based in this realm. And there's some of us that are well read into those rules and system, and we can hold you to account to them. So if you don't know the laws of the Guyana, I would ask you, rather than you go and work purported speech for people write for you, start with the Constitution of Guyana and adhere to its letter and spirit, and you can be a good leader of the country.
All right. The Quran speaks of spiritual equality. It speaks of mutual protection and responsibility, human dignity. It speaks of economic rights and every single thing. And that goes along every other religious books. So I saw earlier, Judge, there was a former prisoner. He was there during my time. Civic said, Judge, take away his cigarette. Judge took away his cigarette. Your closing remarks, Judge, as the apology came from Azruddin as it pertains to his statement.
My closing remarks, Mark, as persons was saying, oh, you don't need to apologize. No, you don't need to. And it's not nothing to do with an apology. You said how you felt and you meant what you felt. So an apology is not going to able to fix what you already have said. You said what you said, and that's fine. That's okay. And for me, I am not coming and I'm not saying because you in your religious belief, we accept it. But in a political realm, it is not acceptance. In a political realm is not acceptance. In your religious belief, you can say what you want that you believe in. But when you come into the political realm, is that everybody who supports you, because there's a lot of people who support you, who is gay, bisexual, lesbian, everybody supports you. So if you're gonna talk about belief and you're gonna talk about acceptance, please, can we define it and can we separate it if you're going to look into that? So if you want to go down the road in that, say, listen, this is my belief. And you should talk and say, listen, I'm supporting this mosque or supporting mosques, and I don't believe y'all should have this, entertain this kind of things. That is fine. But in my political belief, I accept everybody. I love everybody and I'm tolerant to everybody. If not, can you ask them to put a billboard, no gays, lesbian, bisexual, not allowed in mosques around Guyana? Thank you, Mark.
All right. Thank you so much, Judge. Shishi, thank you so much, Twinkle. Twinkle, you get some people in the audience probably. Yeah.
Mark, there's a sisters agree, a letter in agreement. When we agree with something or we think we give
Right.
up.
That's how you guys do it, right?
Yes, you dip the head.
Judge,
Yes.
let's see you dip your head there, Judge. Let me Judge head look as though it's carrying away, can't even reach the
No,
other side.
Mark, stop it.
Thank you guys so much. I
Anyway,
appreciate
Mark,
your time.
thank you for
Yeah.
having us on your platform. We appreciate, and I do look forward to discussion. I don't want to be in rivalry or trivial with Guyanese people. I want a Guyana where there's love, peace, acceptance, and tolerance, and abundance for everybody. Not one, not some, all of we. The
Thank
whole
you.
83,000 square mile. Okay, Mark. Goodbye.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
Yeah.
Mark.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah. Thank you, guys. And for those of you, we've got to have these sort of discussions. We can't pretend that some things don't exist in society. We can't pretend as though we're fighting for the rights of one set of people and not fighting for rights in general, human rights. And that is what it's about. And the discrimination is rampant. A lot of things are being shoved under the rug, and because we tend to believe that in the Guyanese society they're more conservative, they're more British than the British, and the old laws that were basically there, those old laws were there, they're still on the books, and a lot of these things that are happening, and some people pretend they come and they cost and they go on and they this and they that. You wouldn't like to know some of the other sad stories, not just Jack Day and them, a lots of sad stories happening in our society. And those sad stories are being shoved under the rug. And that is why I brought back this particular story about an imam, a Muslim scholar, who raped, not allegedly, he was found guilty. I interviewed the parent, the mother. It was a single mother with several kids, and some of those kids were raped by someone who is said to be a Muslim scholar. Those little boys were going to the masjid, and this individual befriended them as though, they are poor little boys in a particular community. And this imam, this Muslim scholar, took advantage of those little boys, or in this case, he was convicted of one, a 9-year-old boy, and sodomized that 9-year-old boy, raped that 9-year-old boy, and society remained quiet. But yet some folks want to shield themselves on the religion, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity or Hinduism or whatever. And a lot of times these things happen right there in the masjids. It happens in the churches. It happens in the Hindu temples and so forth. but because of the shame, it is covered up in the name of religion. Now, I'm not saying all religious individual or religion, whether Hindu, Muslim, Christians, or whatever, are like this. I'm not saying that. But in every church, every masjid, every temple across Guyana have someone just like Nizam Ali, who was convicted of sodomizing a 9-year-old boy. And so politicians, while they may have their personal views, they're mixing their personal views, because when you have someone who holds a position like Muhammad is saying that lesbians and bisexuals and others are not really wanted in masjid, who are these individuals to judge who goes into a masjid or who goes into a church or who goes into a temple or not? Who are these individuals to judge? Lots of people go into a mosque or a masjid or a same or a Hindu temple or a church. Some are murderers, some are thieves, some are crooks, some are adulterers, all these sort of things. And if we are going to just pick just a piece out of the Bible or a piece out of the Quran, or a piece out of the Bhagavad Gita, just to promote hatred, so to speak, then, or your hatred covered in, it is my personal view, then something is wrong. The Bible speaks of adultery, doesn't it? The Quran speaks about that, and of other forms of sins. So you cannot pluck out some sins and say this sin is okay, that sin is okay, but this sin is not okay, and we don't want this quote-unquote sinner in the masjid or the church or the Hindu temple. You guys got what I'm saying, right? If one sinner is not accepted because of a particular type of sin, then all sinners should not be accepted. The Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Bible speaks of one God. In the Quran, there is Jesus Christ. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are also passages from Christianity, the Bible, and so forth. All three of those books. But what divides society really is ignorance and stupidity, oftentimes packaged as my personal view. I'm out of here, guys. At some point in time, Guyana will become tolerant. Guyana will become mature enough to bring certain discussions to the table, to debate it, to discuss it in a respectful manner, whether we agree or disagree. My name is Mark Benchap, signing off. But before I sign off, 30 seconds more. If you know of some of the clients at the cathedral, some of you will vomit tonight. Some of those same clients go at the cathedral or wherever else, do their business, but when they talk to some of you in society, you will believe otherwise. Some are religious people, some are politicians, some are business people. You will be surprised, though. Let's talk a little more. I'm out of here. See you tomorrow night. Same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. God bless.
PPP will take care of you from erection to resurrection. A quick one for you. And the last time I said that, somebody came up to me and said, man, you little bias. Erection is a man thing, what happened to the women. So I got a woman thing for you. And hear me, from the moment she slime up till you get caught up, we gonna take care of you. Thank
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%. Get your give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. When you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barretons too.
The national player! And the man from Buxton Video. All over! All over! Showtime!